This is Daniela Silva. Today I'm taking you inside of one of the most iconic addresses coming to Miami, Mandarin Oriental Residences.
Hi Daniela, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. So Adrian, why don't we start with what makes this location so special? Being a Brickell Key private area, but still being minutes away from Brickell. From your perspective, what makes this location such special for this project?
Location is definitely one of the biggest selling points for this project, which aside from the island, which is very special in itself, we're actually located on the tip with 5 acres of land with water on 3 sides, a semi-private island that is unique, that also has the connectivity to the mainland of Brickell, right? So it gives you the best of both worlds, where you have that privacy, but you have the walkability all at the same time. This is actually one of the few projects in Miami that is almost impossible to replicate, just because finding this piece of land again is very, very difficult here in Miami. As you know, there's not much land left to be developed, specifically on the waterfront portion.
Like you said, I really love how it's walkable, but it's also peaceful. Right? When you come to Brickell Key, you forget about all the
Absolutely.
Brickell, and also the views. I love how the project has views from everywhere you're standing in the project.
These views, there is no other project that has these types of views, where you have the open bay, the ocean, plus the Brickell skyline, all tied into the same product. So we really are in a very privileged location, and it kind of all ties into why the developer held this piece of land for last to build this legendary project for the Mandarin Oriental.
Now let's talk about who's behind the project. I always say the developer matters. There's plenty of projects coming up in Miami. Why is this site so special for Swire Properties?
The developer is the #1 most important piece whenever we're talking about new construction. Here we do have Swire Properties, who is a legendary developer here in Miami. They've basically built everything on this island with the exception of 3 buildings. They also reshaped the Brickell area with Brickell City Center. This project in particular is very special because it is the crown jewel, the completion of their Brickell Key project. Now, aside from Swire Properties, you also have an amazing global team behind this project, such as KPF, who is our architects, which is called Kohn Pedersen Fox. And why this project is so special for Swire, because it marks the completion of their Brickell Key Island project, which was started over 40 years ago.
It really stands out to me how this is their last piece in Brickell Key, and I would say it's probably the last opportunity to own new construction here.
Basically, as of right now, this is the last buildable property. The developer basically did most of everything else on this island. They did hold this one for last, and as you know, this project was a rumor in Miami for I think over 10 years now, and a lot of people anticipating this amazing project. So we're glad to finally be here, essentially.
Adrian, so tell us about amenities. What type of lifestyle residents can expect?
Yes, this is a very special dynamic that we have here. So essentially, because we have 2 towers, we actually have one which is the private residential tower, 66 stories, and then the one next door is going to be the hotel component, which also has a mixture of some residences. The reason I explain the dynamic is because the private residential tower will actually have its own separate private amenities and services, but they would also have access to the amenities of the hotel as well. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds, to where the hotel guests only have access to their side. So essentially you have the best of both worlds, but also keeping the privacy and exclusivity that you expect. When we talk about amenities, there's over 100,000 square feet of amenities. So there's a lot of amenities to look at. We have actually over 6 pools. There's actually 3 pools for the hotel tower, another 3 pools for the residential tower. You have everything you can think of, from fitness center, sauna, steam room, hammam, multi-sports court, movie screening room, business lounge. And if we actually look at the model, you're actually going to see how we've located pools on each side of the property, which I think is very important because, as you know, in Brickell, a lot of times, a lot of these buildings will have only 1 pool or 2 pools, and they're located on one side of the building, giving you only sun about half the day. Welcome to the beautiful sales model. These are samples of our beautiful kitchens. These are very large spaces. These are almost like single-family home kitchens placed inside of a condo residence. So we're trying to basically design these beautiful homes in the sky with some of the most high-end attention to details that you can find here. So this beautiful marble is a beautiful Calcutta marble, Italian cabinetry, as you can see. Gaga now is going to be all of the appliances that we're using, which is top of the line. We're actually going to be offering our clients two different options to pick from when we talk about the kitchen designs. This one is considered the warm option, and there's another option considered the cool option. So we're trying to give people a little bit of variety while still delivering a very, very high-end product.
I love how it is modern but still elegant, and the contrast of the tones. And
the interior designers trying to create something that is classic and timeless, right? We didn't want to create something that's very, very trendy to where in maybe 10 years from now it's no longer in style, right? That's why a lot of these colors, a lot of these materials are all timeless designs, so that way they will last forever.
I love how it almost feels like a home. Tell us about the sizes of the units.
Our smallest unit here is actually a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. That's 2,333 square feet, which is very large for a 2-bedroom. And they'll get as big as 5,800 square feet for like a very large 5-bedroom. So we have a nice mixture of a little bit of everything, but everything kind of ties into that home in the sky. And then in addition to that, you actually have high ceilings here. So our ceiling heights slab to slab are about 11 feet, which is fantastic because typical in Miami is about 9 feet. Luxury tends to be at about 10. So here we're stepping it up another level, roughly about 11, right? So the ceiling heights here, for example, is actually only about 10 feet 4 inches. So you can imagine it actually be a little bit higher. And then you have beautiful, amazing water views, not just from the front-facing units, but pretty much every unit in the building has water views. So very, very special from that perspective. These are actually the designs for our beautiful closets for the master bedroom. Something that's unique here is that the developers decided to actually deliver the primary closets already built out.
I love that how you mentioned the developer is doing the closets for the residents, because then you have to go hire an interior designer and get your vision done. But this is incredible. Well, this is so beautiful and elegant.
Yes, a lot of materiality here. This beautiful marble, for example, is a Cipollino marble, which comes from Greece. It's almost like a piece of art that runs through the center of your bathroom, right? Your sinks are going to be made out of Taj Mahal quartzite, which is another beautiful stone. Even these entranceways, these beautiful portals that you see here, this is a beautiful travertine stone that you have when you walk into all of the primary bathrooms. So really trying to use a lot of natural materials, from the stones to the woods, but really something like we've never seen here before in Brickell. And if you actually walk with me over here, you're actually going to notice a sauna. This is actually going to be located in our large 5-bedroom units. They have a sauna already integrated into the design, which is fantastic. Here we have our beautiful wet rooms. So essentially this is your shower area, your soaking tub area. It's like an entire room where you can wet anywhere here on the floor and the water slopes down to the drain. You have our beautiful rain showers that come from the ceiling. This beautiful bench with the marble backsplash with your little niches tucked in. All of this is part of the design. None of this is upgrades. Everything is, I guess, I would say is already upgraded, right? As you can tell. We do have a beautiful soaking tub right here as well. Almost all of my soaking tubs face towards the water. So as you can see, this is really like something we've never seen here in the Brickell area when we're talking about this level of finish.
I really love the level of finishes here in this project, and how all of this is a standard offered by interior designer developer, so you really get your money's worth in this project.
Absolutely. I do think that there's a lot of value here, just from the materials to the amenities to the brand to the developer, but most importantly also the location. This is a sample primary bedroom, right? And I think you'll agree that this is a very spacious bedroom. This is about 17 by 19 feet, more or less. It's roughly very similar to like our 3-bedroom primary bedrooms. My 2-bedroom primary is also very similar to this, just a little bit smaller, but also very, very large, but kind of all ties in together with how generous the living areas are here. So like we talked about, homes in the style.
Adrian, thank you so much for your time today and showing us the sales gallery. I can't wait to see this project come to life.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure touring you, and I appreciate you coming to visit us.
If you're looking for something iconic and exclusive, Mandarin Oriental Residences deserves your attention. If you like access to floor plans, pricing, or schedule a private tour, my information is below.